You're listening to SBS News.
It's the beginning of August, yet New South Wales isn't showing signs that the pandemic is over. 239 locally acquired cases were recorded on Sunday, at least 61 confirmed to have been infectious in the community for all or part of their infectious period, while the isolation status of 98 cases remains under investigation. The State Premier Gladys Berejiklian offered up one piece of good news, saying the virus has been contained within 8 strictly locked down government areas.
We are again seeing the virus circulate.
Okay, it can't because okay. Lovely, beautiful. How are you? How are you doing? Lovely, beautiful humans, many humans, different countries, culture, different customs, different tradition, different looks, and beautiful food, dressing up, the way they do it, beautiful. Oh, they're losing out. Shops are shut. Months and months. We all cry. A lot of people lining up to get benefits now. Line after line. They're crazy now. They're protesting. They've got no choice. There's nothing left. They've killed the shops. The little shops can be open with new workers and create new things. We can be beautiful, but no. They don't want to kill the virus, create a gadget where you can detect the virus. They don't want to get it out of here. They don't want to. They don't. China, nothing. America, nothing. Well, Health Organization, nothing. Because they don't want to put all the things together, like say 50 scientists in one place all around the world, all working together. They don't want to. If we were all working if we did everything, we will be mad in our brains. Our brains will explode. We will be doing things that you never seen before. Faster mobile phone, everyone's cheap, everything good. Here we get taxed. When the mobile phone comes here, it gets taxed. Then it goes to the warehouse to get taxed, and then move to the shop to get taxed. And the owner of the shop, okay, I have to increase it to another $390, right? And that takes it to $1,400 for the fine, when the fine was only $600. But anyway, how would I know? They are ripping us off. They're doing all this crazy stuff, but they never. Extreme hardcore. We are on a pandemic. Because war.
Berejiklian offered up one piece of good news, saying the virus has been contained within 8 strictly locked down government areas.
We are again seeing the virus circulate in workplaces and households, and that's been a consistent trend.
YouTube love you because hola cómo estás hola cómo estás tan María Coreno Maraco Quetaco coronavirus. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, coronavirus. Because let's do sex. Lick. I love you. YouTube, man, love you.
The one positive takeout is that the virus has not.
Because reply, listen and reply. Because reply, listen and reply. YouTube, Facebook, Google. Yeah, search engine.
Gone outside those 8 local government areas of concern.
However, for residents in those areas, that information is less impressive. New South Wales Health's Dr. Jeremy McAnulty said 100.
Okay, if they already tried to have a vaccine, and they had it on 60 Minutes, wherever it was, wherever they had the vaccine, and Chile had a vaccine, and everybody else had a vaccine, and this was a year ago. Oops. They had vaccines, but they never allowed it. They didn't do anything. China can make a vaccine that's 50%, but, you know, excuse me, please be nice, please. Beautiful, thank you, nice. Because reply, listening reply, opinions, detected, kill it, hard and faster. Speedy Gonzalez, mate. China will be going, whoa, oh my God. Now put I love you, China, I love you. China, I love you. China, all going together. China, I love you. Alemania, Germany, Viva Alemania, Viva Alemania. Boom, boom, bastic and fantastic. Because my show. I love this. I'm having fun. Because. Reply. Give me. Because. I love you.
Local government areas of concern.
However, for residents in those areas, that information is less impressive. New South Wales Health's Dr. Jeremy McAnulty said 161 of the cases recorded were spread across southwestern and western Sydney. The 8 areas of concern: Liverpool, Fairfield, Cumberland, Canterbury, Bankstown, Blacktown, Parramatta, Georges River and Blacktown, are still under tougher restrictions than other parts of Sydney.
Okay. Coronavirus is hit Sydney, and they're creating injection platforms where 100 can go in this warehouse or shopping mall, or they're doing something incredible everywhere now, and you have to get the jab or the vaccine, you understand? Otherwise you can't go nightclubs. And what was the other one? Was nightclub and special events like tennis or whatever it is. You haven't got the vaccine in you. You didn't get the injection. You can't do all these things. You can't go into special places. And you're ugly. You got it very fucking fat. You know what I mean? That's stupid. I know for sexy people who go to the Olympics and the families are shouting, everybody's protesting, the government is to be scared, and the thing is about China and America, India, Pakistan, the whole world is connected, you understand? Because, listen and debate. Give it the back. Reply, please. Reply. Say something.
Concern: Liverpool, Fairfield, Cumberland, Canterbury, Bankstown, Blacktown, Parramatta, Georges River and Blacktown.
I'm saving your life because I'm saving your life. You want money?
Are still under tougher restrictions than other parts of Sydney. Movement has been limited to a 5-kilometre radius from home, with only essential workers allowed to leave the areas.
How can I save you? Lifestyle, please. Reply. How can I save you? I need to save you. I love you. Bombastic, other planet, extraterrestrial.
Construction in those areas remains closed, with construction workers not allowed to leave for sites outside their LGAs. Ms Berejiklian has called on residents to see August as a fresh start and get vaccinated.
Today is the 1st of August, and I'm calling upon the people of Greater Sydney, of Greater New South Wales, to come forward and get vaccinated. To get to the 70% target, we need 9.2 million jabs. To get to the 80% target, we need 10 million jabs. And we've been talking about this in New South Wales for some time. Pleasingly, in the last 24 hours, we had over 82,000 people get vaccinated in one day alone in New South Wales. Now, at that rate, we're vaccinating about 500,000 people per week, but we want to do more. We want to go faster.
An increase in vaccine administration is being backed and encouraged by the federal government. Last week, National Cabinet flagged the easing of restrictions and lockdowns once 70 to 80% of the population is vaccinated. Reaching these benchmarks means a significantly larger number of Australians need to roll up their sleeves, with around 19% currently fully inoculated. Australia's Acting Chief Medical Officer, Professor Michael Kidd, says numbers are going up.
In July, 4.5 million vaccines were administered to people in Australia. This compares to 3.4 million in June, 2.1 million in May. Our national vaccine rollout continues to ramp up, and thank you to everybody involved in getting those vaccines into people's arms. Yesterday, 110,000 vaccines were administered across Australia. This is a record for a Saturday.
Because God, 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 God, dear God, come to earth and visit us, God, everybody together, everything together, because God, because God, because God, I love you, God, come to us, please, God, love you, God.
And that takes us to over 12.3 million doses administered.
Australia's vaccine coordinator, Lieutenant General John Fruin, has assured expected vaccine supply will allow the vast majority to get vaccinated by the end of the year. Mr. Fruin says focus is on key sectors which pose an increased transmission risk in New South Wales.
We've already started doing vaccinations of some of the key food hub distribution areas in New South Wales, and in conjunction with New South Wales we've agreed that we will do the food hubs and they will do the supermarket workers and the like. We're also engaged in discussions with the construction industry in Sydney to figure out the best way to get that workforce vaccinated as well.
Aged care facilities are once again proving to be high risk, with 12 residents infected in a facility in Sydney's inner west. A staff member at the home in Summit Hill, run by Hardy Aged Care, tested positive for COVID-19 last week and worked at the centre while asymptomatic. Authorities say 80% of residents in the facility have been vaccinated. However, those infected were moved to hospitals as a precautionary measure. Mr. Fruin says with vaccines now mandatory for aged care workers, he anticipates all staff will have received at least one dose by mid-September.
One of my highest priorities right now is the aged care workers who've been slated as now a mandatory requirement for vaccination. So we've got a very comprehensive plan in place to make sure that they all have first dose vaccination by mid-September.
Over the border in Queensland, a rapidly escalating situation is concerning state authorities. 9 new locally acquired cases were recorded on Sunday as 11 government areas in the southeastern part of the state sit through a 3-day lockdown. Health authorities are trying to understand the link between a COVID-positive high school student and travellers in hotel quarantine. The 9 cases are the highest number of daily infections in 1 year and have all been linked to the high school cluster. Chief Health Officer Jeanette Young is urging the community to come forward for testing.
I still think there will be cases there in the Sunshine Coast that we don't know about, and if we don't find them, they will continue to spread. So that is really critical. I do not have any link between these cases that have happened in Indooroopilly and where it originally started from those 2 people who came into Queensland from overseas with the same genome sequence. So this is critical.
Meanwhile, in Victoria, a situation which 2 weeks ago saw residents in their 5th lockdown since the pandemic began has now calmed. 4 cases of COVID-19 were recorded in the state, all linked to current outbreaks and quarantining throughout their infectious period.
This is an ABC podcast.
Okay, because, okay, before I go anywhere, just a new one. So about 41 to 51 a day are getting infected, all right? One guy went into a shop, bought some food at the pizza place, and he was infected and he infected everyone, all right? Another one I hear was someone coming out of a taxi. He infected a taxi driver and then went out and infected a lot of other people. But anyway, things are like that. So we need something to detect this coronavirus, like a smartwatch or something that should already created this. I don't know why they're having and why they're not getting together. They say they got G20, G. Think about it. They say we got elite fighters, elite. We are champions, right? We are ninjas, right? The ladies will understand this. They don't want no silly games. They want honest, straightforward, get boom, no pack, boom. You understand? That's what the lady said. And they said, that's a good one. I like this guy. Very good manners. Listens and reply. Right? Do the right thing, Earth. You know, get faster, quicker, and more intelligent. You say you got different companies. You say you can make nuclear bombs. You say you got this. China, Japan, all making things wrongly when it should kill these things out of our planet. You understand? Boom! Not this, not that. You already had it. 2003, SARS and other diseases out of this planet. We should all be quarantined inside of a building where they've got technology that we haven't seen before. All have technology we need to have more futuristic in boom, 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 boom. Speedy Gonzalez, it goes like this. Vamos, tambom, ta-na-na-na, diva. Porque te quiero, te amo, te voy a amar. Espíritu Santo, corazón de melón. Nos quedamos en la escoba borracho. We love you, Earth. We want you to be intelligent. Break the breaker. The ladies will love the shaker. She will be beautiful. You understand? And we need to stop this. We need to combine everything and we kill the virus. We have things detecting it, we have new things, we have new weapons, we have new technology, we have things to go out of space. We need to create a spaceship, we need to do something, we need to colonize, be nice, take our medication, see doctors and everything. I love you. More should have been done from 2003 to now. I'm telling you. And something going wrong, then we can't all be together. Why cannot China and Chile, Argentina, United States, Australia all get together and do a celebration that they never had? Or you need to have a little bit bombastic and fantastic. And you want to kill something, you want to destroy something, you want to make it fuck. Well, why didn't you do it in 2003 when SARS was on from China? Okay, breaker. Ladies, you understand this, the army elite. They got everything, got different buildings, different technologies, they're going out of space, and they're not doing nothing. Ladies, look what they're doing. They're ripping you off, mate. Lady horror. My God, they should already had all this detection. We shouldn't all be scared. This is what is going on. We should be working at home, making money from Bitcoin and doing crazy things they never had before. I'm more, because, reply. I love you, sport.
This is an ABC podcast.
Well, on Sunday, the last manager, obviously, and you can see that, players come
much, but hopefully we can keep this COVID situation under control in Queensland so we can continue to play the rest of the season.
Now, Cody Nicarima, when he came on the field last night, he gave you lots of spark, and even a bloke like you got more freedom, even though you had a roving role last night, made a difference having that good combination coming off the bench.
Yeah, for sure. I think Cody's probably one of the similar position as me. Like, he plays really good in the hooker, but probably wants to be a half. So he probably is a half. It's just at the moment it's what the team needed, and he benched there and gave us a spark and a lot of energy, and his speed around the ruck really helps us.
He got the Tigers on the back foot a lot in that game last night. Now, you'd scored 3 tries. I think you'd only played 8 games for the Warriors coming into last night. As you mentioned, you were injured in game 1 and then that with the close contact and so on. We like to play the tries back to the guests if they coincide. Here's your 2 tries last night, Ewan. Plays the ball down to Nicarima, sends it left O'Sullivan to Hiku. Short ball to Waken. He's past the fullback to score. The Warriors strike first, second half for Ewan Aiken. Referee Ben Cummins points to the spot. Here's a short line drop out, headed towards the eastern corner. But much like Penrith in the 91 grand final, when MG offloaded to Roy Simmons, Ewan Aiken crosses to score. 23 minutes to go, and it's 16-10 the Warriors. 2 tries for you and Aiken. A big bad Bunty of Foa getting the other one in that second half. Were you surprised with that short line dropout, given it was 12-10 at the time, or were you expecting it?
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting it. I didn't think they'd go for it at that time of the game and all that sort of thing. But, yeah, they did, and I was fortunate enough to make the most of it.
Yeah, not West Tigers fans didn't expect it either, I can promise you.
Yeah.
All right, Ewan, we'll let you go. Mate, thanks very much for joining us. Great to see you play well, so well last night. May continue for what's left of the season.
Thanks for that. Thanks for having me.
This is an ABC podcast.
The Melbourne Storm was due for the grand final rematch tonight against the Penrith Panthers. That game is up in the air. All 3 games today, as we keep telling you, have been called off. And let's find out what the Melbourne club and the CEOs have been told. Melbourne's new CEO this year, Justin Rodsky, joined us on the line. Justin, thanks for your time. How are you going?
Yeah, going well, thanks. Pleasure to be with you.
We appreciate your time. How many phone calls do you reckon you've made today or received?
Yeah, there's been a couple, that's for sure. Never a dull moment, COVID, and dealing with all the different challenges. So, obviously pretty frustrating to not be able to head down to Suncorp tonight for what was going to be a huge game, first, second, and grand final rematch, and hopefully a grand final preview as well. So, now we just wait to see whether or not we can get the game away over the next couple of days.
So are you in Queensland, Justin, or back in Melbourne?
No, I'm down in Melbourne.
Okay.
So the team's up on the Sunshine Coast.
So how does what's the practicalities of how all that works from, say, 10 o'clock this morning when Queensland Health make their announcement of the lockdown and there's no professional sport, and then we find out the ARL and NRL are working with Queensland Health to try and get games on? What was the process for you?
Yeah, well, I saw the case numbers, and then I saw I think it was on Twitter, I saw, some commentary start to come through around potential lockdowns, and then from there, when I saw...
Okay, I'm not going to get red on the face now. Got to behave now. NRL is a sport in Australia. It's called National Rugby League, but it should be Australian National Rugby League. Yes, it's a gladiator sport. Some players are in Melbourne, some more in Queensland, because Queensland's up the north of Australia, and it's the pretty... I call it the pretty... I don't know what other people will call it, but you got to have more money there, and it's the prettiest one, all right? Our tourists will go there, and you'll be driving forever, and to get to the ocean is amazing. Queensland is big. Melbourne is not that big. It's big, but yeah, well, you can say Victoria or whatever. One day I was wrong. Adelaide, South Australia. Me, I get confused on what I'm saying sometimes because I don't know the maps of Australia, right? But to know in my respect, in my honor, well, of my customs, I live in Australia, so NRL is rugby, you play with a little ball, and the other one is rugby union, so you go learn what rugby union is and what rugby is, and you might learn something. Australia do that because they are machos and they do all these beautiful things, right? I'm going to pass word now to see what else because I haven't got all day. I'm sorry. I'm going red on the face now. I see men, all right, not blind. I see a man, and they say he's a bad boy, right? And to me, wow, oh no, right. I'm meant to say something, you know, but yeah, he's cool, he's the one. I'm not sure, he's mad. I'm gay now, am I? Far out, get off the planet, my friend. Get off the planet, mate.
Idea in that aspect. The thing that excites me most about the fact that it's still going ahead, one, we're still going to have footy, and number two, a lot of those athletes that were involved in NRLW last year that are involved in the Olympic campaign this year then come back into the scene to be available to be selected to play for an NRLW side. So we'll be getting a shot at even more talent to play our great game.
So Andrew Abdo promised, to make advantage of Grand Final weekend and really make the launch of the NRLWC.
Oh yeah, okay. W is for the Women National rugby league as well, and I know they're not that bad. They're not really, the Warrior or anything type. They're not really a scrub where you throw you 10 kilometers away with one hand. No, they're not that bad. When they go play in sevens, I think it is, seven rugby union or whatever it is in the Olympics, they play very, very tough, very, very unique and hardcore in a beautiful way. Incredible. The women get smashed by themselves, they get tackled, put down, and they play rough, and it's wild, but beautiful, beautiful. Because it's Australia for you. It's play with a little egg ball, the egg ball. Please learn your rugby league and your rugby union, please.
A great game.
So Andrew Abdo promised, to make advantage of Grand Final weekend and really make the launch of the NRLW season a part of that. So normally, as you're featured in, the NRLW Grand Final played on Men's Grand Final Day at Stadium Australia. Wherever the Grand Final is, would you expect Grand Final Day to be the launch with a game or two?
Well, my understanding is that they'll be looking at launching it as a triple header, so I don't think it would be on Grand Final Day, dependent on what other games. As you know, there's usually Queensland Cup and New South Wales Cup winners will play each other Grand Final Day. Then we had the NRLW Grand Final, and then we had the big dance. So I don't know whether those other games will go ahead. So it could be a triple header, or it could just be the weekend that launches the NRLW and then is bookended by the Grand Final.
Yeah, so maybe on that vacant Saturday.
Yeah,
have the triple
potentially.
Header. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that would be an interesting way to do it. And with the expanded sides, I know, talking to you last year about all of this, Roo, it's a good thing that they're expanding the teams. Unfortunate that the Warriors, due to situation with COVID bubbles and so on, won't be a part of it. Are you happy with the clubs that they've ended up coming up with?
I think it gives us a really good footprint across some great rugby league playing areas. I mean, Parramatta Eels are very, very strong in that area. Newcastle Knights have an extremely strong competition up there, and the Central Coast Roosters, which were Newcastle CRL last year, have been at the top of the game for a little while now, so there's definitely a lot of talent. And the Gold Coast Titans, again, it'll just sort of spread that talent out in the Queensland Basin. So I think it definitely gives us a larger footprint. I know there'll be a lot of teams that'll say, well, what about me? The old Shannon Knoll song, what about me? But I think it's a good step forward, and there was discussion around adding more teams next year. Whether that happens or not because of COVID, I don't know, because this year was meant to be 6 teams and home and away. So things might be, again, changing next year. However, I know that they're looking to expand as quickly as they can, as safely as they can, and maintain the integrity of the competition.
And it was a tough one for them to determine how to spread the talent around. And as we know, 3 years into this NRLW season, Brisbane's won them all, and they've been brilliant. And as we had Millie Boyle on a few weeks ago, Roo, saying, well, why would you want to mess up with a team that's setting the standard? But it does seem that enough players have agreed to spread around the place, not so much perhaps for the Newcastle Knights at this stage, but there does seem to be a number of these elite 24 players spread through the different clubs. Are you happy with the way that's turned out or not?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to incentivise spreading of that talent in that way, because it is a huge ask to completely uproot and take yourself to a new club. For some people, it could be interstate, it could be changing areas, it could be changing jobs, all that sort of stuff. So I think it is a great idea in that aspect. Because it is quite difficult to sometimes, especially with new clubs, to get talent to go there. But it's a great starting point for us, and I think especially these players get a taste of what that club offers, and especially when you see what the programs some of these clubs are putting together, that'll then in turn start drawing talent on its own merits.
All right. Now, Roo, how was your experience in the rec room calling last week with Dino and Spriggsy?
I'll tell you what. The upside to the rec room is that there is a drinks machine and a snack machine.
Oh, there is
So,
too, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that could be good and bad, but I feel like we really did ensure that we didn't overindulge in the snacks. But
Oh, wait up. I've changed. I got to go in 10 minutes. So, yep, changed it. Something, and beautiful, all going together because I love you. Do 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 da. Winaun te umanga o o a ta na 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 ni. Bésame bonito final, bésame bonito final. Tan 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 tan. Bésame bonito final. Tan 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 tan. Ejercicio militar, ejercicio militar. Military chaka waka ding dong ding dong.
अगर लास्ट ईयर से कंपेयर करते तो नंबर थोड़ा कम है लेकिन कमांडर्स देखें टॉप कमांडर तो लास्ट
Look, it's in Indian and Pakistan. What happened there? Why do they do that? Oh, they do that, Hector. Oh, you know how things are, mate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that, you know. Oh, what you want? 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 What's he doing, man? It's not playing, man. What? Ma, eh? What? Tu para pare po oh. Pam 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 param. Pam 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 param. Pam param pam pam. Pam 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 pam.
Good morning and happy Saturday, Australia. Welcome to day number 8 of the Tokyo's 20 laps out, 2 laps out, 1 lap out, 4 laps out. Apart from going the early crow on Cole Chalmers, he's been flawless, and it's great to see him back where he belongs on the Channel 7 commentary when we're having a Golden Games in the Olympics. What are your thoughts on him, Ollie?
Mate, 100%. I think you said it best the other day.
I don't need to cry now. You can hear the different tone of the voice of this beautiful person. I don't want to cry. Okay, you can hear the customs inside of it. It's further than that. It's in his heart. It's in his spirit. And man, don't worry. I don't want to cry. Because I had this problem one day, me crying about silly things, about the spirit, why our spirit, right, is here with our spirit, Mother Earth, Nature Earth. We belong to it. We want something that is different a little bit, that yoga and other commitment, that our brain, power, soul and spirit, we all know we want to be beautiful. We want to be customs and traditions out there and spirit and all over and everything together. Yo hablo español, yo soy chileno. En Chile están los mapuche. Los mapuche son los nativos de mi país, Chile. Mi país fue conquistado de los españoles. ¿Comprende? Okay, we don't need to talk a la vida loca. Vaya conmigo, mi amor, porque te quiero, normal, ya que pasamos, nos vamos allá. Hombre, sombrero, gracias, amor querido, I love you with my heart, spirit and soul I fight. I will be a champion. I will do something crazy. Me will be together forever. I'll give my soul to you. Champion, Sporty, love you. Illawarra, PPOPA. St. George, Illawarra. I live in Toraji. Then Ferry Meadow, and then Wollongong, Illawarra, New South Wales. Whoa. Thank you. Please be nice.
Back where he belongs on the Channel 7 commentary when we're having a Golden Games in the Olympics. What are your thoughts on him, Ollie?
Mate, 100%. I think you said it best the other day. He said Tony Romo swimming commentary. Tommy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just find he's a very calming influence. You know, when you particularly, let's say, Ariane Titmus's 200-metre swim or 400-metre swim going into the last turn, you know, you're just kind of waiting for his soothing dulcet tones to come in and, you know, say, look, I think Arnie's, you know, about to step on the throttle here and come through, and you kind of just fully trust him. And it's quite reassuring for someone that's sitting on the edge of their seat chewing their fingernails.
He's the sort of bloke you want there just to let you know that everything's going to be all right.
That's it, just stroking your forehead and running his fingers through your hair.
There's definitely an element of feeling safe about seeing Thorpe on the screen and seeing the Aussies absolutely flying on the gold medal tally, especially in the swimming. So that's definitely been a bit of a throwback this Olympics. And then tonight, the last event, we had not long finished now, the women's and men's, the 4x100 metre medley relay. I probably thought going into this we'd be pretty strong contenders for at least a bronze in both. We saw the girls go through third fastest with pretty much a B team. Seabomb, Hodges, Throssell and O'Callaghan doing heavy lifting for the A team in the final on Sunday, I believe that is. And then the boys rolled out quite a strong side and only sort of came in sixth fastest. So potentially in a bit of Barney rubble there if we're looking to add to our medal tally. But that's sort of no different from the narrative that is the Australian swimming team in the pool this Olympics, with the girls outperforming the boys once again. And then just before we got on air as well, we saw Barty and Johnny Peers go down to the Russian pairing in a super tiebreak. Massively disappointing, but they've got a big match for another bronze on the weekend. I believe that will be tomorrow, depending on who they're playing and whether or not they've got a singles or another doubles over the weekend. So that'll be interesting, and it'll be great to see Barty. She's been in 3 events this Olympics after backing up of her big Wimbledon win. So hopefully she's got an insatiable appetite for Olympic medals, and hopefully we can do something to feed that. And then, Tommy, you're keeping a keen eye on the Rugby Sevens today. How'd the Aussie girls fare backing up their Olympic gold in Rio?
Yeah, pretty disappointing, Al. Their 2 games today, they had their final pool game against the US, which they went down 14-12. They didn't look themselves, but, you know, you could potentially excuse that for the fact that they already knew they were going through. And then, yeah, they had their quarterfinal matchup against Fiji, and it was much of the same, to be honest. They went ahead in the match, but they were just kind of, the Fijians were just a little bit too big, too strong, too fast. And it just didn't look like the Aussie women's sevens side that we've come to know, particularly that one that won the gold in Rio. So very disappointing for them. I think they have to back up tomorrow for, I think the best result that they can get is a 5th. So that would definitely be something that would be hard to stomach, given they know exactly what the highs of Olympic glory are.
Yeah, look, I think at the end of the day, tough one to put a finger on, but they had more Instagram posts than they did tries scored, so that could have something to do with the result there. Better news, though, for the Aussies was the Matildas up against Great Britain, and the Brits are going home. What a performance from the Matildas. The Aussies were on fire tonight. They scored first through the head of Alana Kennedy. went into half-time, up 1-0. The Poms came out firing. They went bang-bang straight after half-time. And they looked home and hose. 2 minutes to go in regular time. The BBC had actually already put up a post congratulating their team on going through to the semi-finals, which makes it all the more sweet. Sam Kerr levelled the scores, sending it into extra time. The Poms got awarded a dubious penalty in extra time, but Aussie keeper Tegan Mika was up to it. She was dove to her left, did a fantastic save. Aussies went up the other end, and Mary Fowler, young 17-year-old, popping it in top bins from 25 yards out. Potential deflection, can't be sure on that one, but it was an amazing moment. Sam Kerr then backed it up 2 minutes later, so the Aussies are up 4-2 with 10 to play. Poms dragged one back to lead to a bit of a tense last 5 minutes, but the Matildas hung strong and they'll go through to the semi-finals in an absolutely brilliant performance. Did you see that one, Al?
Oh, mate, I was glued to it. I think that's probably why we started our podcast a little bit late tonight, the extra time. And I was praying for no penalties, but in the back of my mind, I knew that a British team stacked with England players were going to be cactus in penalties anyway, so we were going to get through nonetheless. Mary Fowler, she's born in 2003. That is absolutely absurd. Sammy Kerr, absolute superstar of the game, best player in the world. So very excited to see what's happening there in the next round. I believe we're playing the winner of Sweden or Japan. Someone might have to fact check me on that one, but probably a tough game from whoever won that one tonight. But then it's been a big day for our girls. And then we get to the discus final. So he probably doesn't cite the great man Jai as a role model in terms of his lifestyle habits, but if he can replicate his achievements in the sandpit, then he's doing a great job. So good luck to you, Henry. And then we get to the discus final. So this is an interesting one, actually. So Matthew Denny has been unheralded. He's had quite a good career locally and in the region so far. He actually qualified 4th overall into the discus final. They only get 12 in the final, so he threw a monstrous 65.13 metres with I think it was his 3rd throw tonight. The big Swede, though, Daniel Starr. Pam 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 tan 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 tarum boom boom. Ayo ayo yo 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 yo. Ayayayayayayida para barum baram barum barum bam bam. Eo 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 ah. Eo 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 eo. Okay, I'll sing this chilling one. Ready? Con corazón nos vamos, con corazón nos vamos, somos como corazón de chilenos, vamos de corazón de chilenos, campeón, campeón, de la casa al campo, la vida arriba nos vamos canto, chi, le, oh sí, oi, oh sí, oi, oi, oh sí, oi,
Australia, we won't remember. We forget and we do. Australia, Australia, Australia. We are going back. We are going back. Australia, Australia, England, 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 Germany, Japan, Japan. Okay, a bit of this. Okay.
Samsungs, or they look like apples. It's like a blob or a thing with a stick sticking out of your ear, like a Q-tip bent over, right? Like the stem, right? So the reality is nobody's really innovating here in terms of design. And these, of course, are stem, but you just look at them and instantly you're like, okay, this is cool. And I think we need that. We need these are very personal items, like wearing a smartwatch. You want something that is styling, right? So if it's your style, go for it. I think that even before reviewing these, unless there's something drastically wrong with the sound, if you folks are listening, are interested in getting these, just buy them. I think these are going to be winners, in my opinion. But we'll see.
And there have been a lot of reviews that seem to point in that direction. And for $99, you could really do a whole lot worse for what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get a review new unit on this as well. I'm waiting to hear back. So
I think the big challenge is going to be for those of us who are heavily invested in the Google ecosystem, whether this is a better choice than, maybe an upcoming pair of Google Buds with ANC, or, even without ANC. Like the fact that the Google Buds, the Pixel Buds A series have some silicone tips means they do have a little bit of passive noise isolation. Mm-hmm. So that's the other thing you have to remind. Like if you are looking at earbuds that have some sort of silicone tip, usually if you size it right, you're going to get some reasonable environmental attenuation. So, you might not need ANC. It really depends on your purposes, right?
Absolutely. Well, and I think that goes back to what you were talking about as far as ANC appearing in more and more earphones. You're not going to get the same quality of ANC, but I'd say in general, some ANC is usually better than no ANC at all, right? Like the best of the best, it's hard to argue why it's so cool. But even if it knocks things down, like you said, attenuates, 15 or 20 dB, that's better than nothing. That's going to make a marked improvement on your listening experience.
100%. I think it comes down to the health of your hearing, right? I mean, you're going to lower the volume automatically if you have ANC because you get less interference to your listening. And also it's, I think the other thing that it helps with is just, keeping that stress level down, especially if you're running around, like if you're already kind of like outside taking public transit, you got a lot on your mind, like having some peace and quiet in addition to your podcast or music or whatever it is you're piping through.
Yes, it's meditation. I've been singing a lot. And I see your well-being, your lifestyle is you're creating the boss of what you're trying to do, planning things out because. Please reply, subscribe.
Those earbuds, it's just gonna feel more serene, and you're gonna benefit from that, right? Basically.
And another thing, you're gonna have money to buy these headphones, earbuds, whatever it is that you have to do, sexy, and you know it. YouTube, bow. Excuse me, please. Oops, sorry. Good man is champion. Fight in the pub. Love you.
Yeah. And I should also mention just really quickly, since we've touched a lot of, we've covered a lot of ground as far as like a lot of different types of earphones, true wireless earbuds, and we've mentioned the randomness that's found on Amazon. I'm sure you've mentioned this at some point, but scarbir.com, SCARBIR.com is a really great site for basically, I think it's just one person that has taken it upon themselves to review like all of those knockoff, Chinese earbuds.
That's amazing.
And really scrutinizes them and can tell you like under $100, these are the best ones you're going to find on Amazon. So just a cool kind of place to go if you're actually interested in saving some money and not taking as much of a risk as you can when you're just, buying one of those that you randomly find.
Thanks, Jason. This is why we got you on the show. This is why, folks, Jason knows everything. Yeah, we'll check it out. So let's talk phones for a bit. Let's start with China and make our way slowly back to the US and US market.
Sure.
A lot of my audience is from India and from Asia and Europe and, basically places that speak English or are fluent in English. And so, these phones matter there and they don't matter too much here. But as you know, I kind of like these getting my hands on phones you can't find as commonly in the US. The Huawei P series has been, you know, the flagship for Huawei for years now, and we were waiting on a flagship for this year, even though they're obviously much more challenged this year in making a flagship with chip access. And so the P50 series was finally announced. And I think it's a big deal because, well, Snapdragon 888 instead of a Kirin chip, like, what a bomb, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you know, there's a lot of question marks right now for Huawei. There continues to be. Huawei as a brand is a brand that I've not had hands-on access in quite a while because, you know, it just doesn't appear, you know, through our show. We talk a lot about what Huawei could be or what could have happened if things worked out differently for them. And man, I just feel so bad for the company because the quality of their hardware, these phones included, things just look awesome. And I'm sure there are in other parts of the world, it's not as much of as an inhibiting factor, but not having Google as part of this relationship, I know they're trying to do the best that they can, but my goodness, what a way to cripple a company.
Yeah, it's hurting for sure for them. And then there's Harmony OS, right? Like I know that, you know, beyond the politics that exists with them not being able to get access to US technology and, you know, sell products in North America, but beyond that, there's the politics of basically walking the party line, right? And that is why they are not able to, you know, be public about the fact that clearly Harmony OS is a fork of Android, right? Like they will not say that. We have proof it is. And so what their you know, basically messages, we made our own OS. And so now that makes us, you know, more independent or whatever. And that's, I mean, you can use Android because there's open source as a solid base to make your own OS. But this clearly looks like, you know, it could be called, you know, the next version of Android for Huawei, because this is the first phone officially launched with Harmony OS. And we also know Harmony OS is a series of OSs, right? Like they're not just the phone one. There's also like the watch one. Like they're different versions of different OSs that are working on different kernels and not just necessarily Linux. Some of them are real-time OS based, like the watch ones. So I think Harmony OS is a very big umbrella thing, but when we talked about Harmony OS on phones, we all know it's an Android clone, but they don't admit that. So for them, it's a big rah-rah-rah that they have their first phones with Harmony OS. So
yeah, indeed.
But what got me excited here is that excited and kind of like wowed was like Snapdragon 888. So they're going to be shipping some phones with the Kirin 9000, I think in their local market at first. And when they run out, it looks like for the rest of the global market at least, and probably in-house in China as well, going to switch over to Snapdragon 888, but with 4G only. So 5G disabled, it looks like.
Ouch. I mean, well, you know, and this is one of those, like, on paper that feels like that hurts, but in like practice and in reality, you know, we were just talking about it on All About Android just this last Tuesday, like just the fact that 5G, you know, continues to be this thing that we're seeing more and more phones supporting.
Oh, yeah.
So it's becoming less and less of a challenge for consumers to just happen to have a phone that supports it. And even when I see 5G on my phone, it's not like my experience is any different. I don't perceive any difference. And I don't know if it's any faster, any slower. I haven't tested it lately. But regardless, anything that I'm doing really doesn't, at the end of the day, require those faster speeds. So it's kind of a moot point. So not having 5G is painful on paper, I would say, because there are going to be some people that look at this and go, oh, well, but that's the future. Why would I buy a phone that doesn't, you know, support the future? But the practicality is that it kind of doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter so much, but for a company that is together with Qualcomm one of the pioneers in 5G, this has got to hurt. Like it's got to feel difficult to be able to articulate that. But I think they have to because, well, you know, otherwise they can't get those Qualcomm chips. Basically, that's the deal. Like they can get Qualcomm chips as long as they don't use the 5G parts. So there you go. In terms of the phones, there's a P50 and a P50 Pro. The P50 Pro has a 6.6-inch AMOLED, 120 hertz, and it's like that weird resolution that they've been using for a while now that slots between 1080p and 1440p, meaning 2K. So it's like 1228 or whatever, 1224p, like depending on the panel you're looking at. The P50 has a 90 hertz, slightly smaller 6.5-inch version of that. Batteries are 4360 and 4100 milliamp hours, and of course 66 watt charge.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it. I've got a bit of a headache. Okay, I like to say one more shout out, like someone, I'm going to do it, to the mobile phone companies, right? If you have a phone, I hear that is 6 or 8 gigabyte RAMs, maybe 8, just say an 8 gigabyte RAM phone, well, it doesn't matter if it's 4G or 5G or 6G, if the line, some countries might have 6G, you see. Oops, excuse me. I don't know how can the world understand the technology. Joe Biden is the president of America, right? He might have some lawsuits he wants to say to Google or Facebook, cut Facebook in half or something, or triple it, multiple. Anyway, somehow where it can be connected, I could say that Facebook could have a multi-page, where it says Facebook multi-page, and then on that you can drop ideas, sell anything, do anything, and Facebook is saying, okay, that's what you want, and they do whatever, and they put, here's some other rules, and that's what they put in this one group that Facebook could create. What is going on Facebook, right? You can ask questions like that on this one group that Facebook will have, like a moderator group. It's like the assistant helping us out for our databases and everything, for having different ideas and opinions, and how we can be more creative and have businesses, people with nice tall men, like a goalkeeper. I like goalkeepers, that nice and long, big men. Anyway, I don't know. In my life, I say, I love you. I don't know. In my life, I say inspiration. In my life, I say the army. Once I used to be very fit. I used to do 80 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, all this. Now I'm a bit lazy, but I'm still a champion, you see, going forward to see how everything, YouTube, Facebook, everything all going together, this new internet databases, URL, or anything. Anyway, I don't have nothing written down. I don't know how to explain it, but I see that things could have been greater, better, or something, and it's probably going for an hour now. But you know that I speak Spanish and I do this type of things. I might do this type of things more often, right? So an 8 gigabyte phone, that's all it's got to be, a fast phone, very fast phone. So because if it's fast phone, right, maybe you can open it faster, you can move it faster. It moves when you put your finger there, it does go faster. If it's a tablet or a note or something, or a phone or computer, anyway, everything's a bit faster, and using your brain and being creative, building another constitution, a group, or a gathering, or customs and tradition, Chilean technology, Australian technology, China technology, American technology, Germany technology, European technology. We combine technology with other technology. We think which one's better for us. We look for it. We ask questions. How could I get something nice? And when I have $1,000, can I buy a nice computer, a nice phone? That's what I'm going to learn. I'm learning beginner. I am a learning beginner. I get trash to trash because, and people, I see that other people, they say, oh, right. I hear that all the time. And this, oh, right. This bloke can handle himself. This bloke can do things. This bloke just needs some guidance, some inspirational, some do what you can when you got to do. Do what you can when you got to do. Do what you can when you got to do. Do it. You can do, only can do what you got, what you can, what you got, what you can, what you got, because we protest, because, ole, because, ole, boom, bing, boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 dun 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 boom, baby boom 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 boomba, excited, sporty, party, barbecue, emu, koala, sexy. Okay, I'm cutting it. Okay, because I love you, because I love you. Opinion, subscribe, love you, sexy, love you, woo. Excuse me, be nice, please.
You're listening to SBS.